This is the electric load center videos. This is called your service drop. I don't know if you can see that right here. That's called your service drop. It's not supposed to be in the trees, and it's not. It's not in the trees right now. It comes in. We got some good drip legs. It comes in. This meter box and the main disconnect, they should be sealed on these three sides to help moisture from coming inside of here. Are y'all dead yet? Okay. Had a little event there. It was kind of exciting earlier. Copper's coming in, copper's coming in. Alright, that's your main neutral. It's wrapped with white tape, it's supposed to be. Now L1 and L2 here, okay, they're supposed to have neoprene covers on them, right here. They don't. It's a relatively new requirement, but they don't. Alright, and you don't have to have them down here. You don't have to have them inside. That's the only place. That's the dead front cover for it. I'll put that back. Your grounding rod, you're supposed to have 2 grounding rods within 6 feet. Back in the day, 1 was fine, but by today's standards. And the grounding rod is supposed to be 8 feet long. I'm going to take their word for that. But it's supposed to be buried. It's supposed to be buried. It's not supposed to be sticking up like that. It's not supposed to be buried 7 foot 6 inches. It's supposed to be buried 8 feet. And an electrician can come in and he can measure the resistance and find out that it's fine, and prove to the code inspector that the intent was made. But I'm not here for that. I'm just looking for the grounding rod, and the grounding rod's supposed to be buried. We're in the laundry. Okay, electric service panels should not be in wet locations. Okay, electric service panels are supposed to have 36 inches of clearance in front of them. This is not 36 inches of clearance. 17 inches on the sides of them so you can get in and work. This is not 17 inches. We do not have sufficient clearance around our load center, which this is the primary and that's the secondary, and they call it the sub panel. And then I learned that sub panel is not a real thing, but it's kind of a thing. But anyway, so that's what we got. So we're just going to start with this one, and some redundancy. See these cracks between here? It's not supposed to be wider than 1/8 of an inch. Okay, that compromises the fire blocking. And then see the screws that they use to get the panel in? Okay, those are drywall screws. All right, they snap, they break. It's supposed to be nailed in. See that hole in there, that knockout hole? That compromises the fire blocking. You think a fire can jump through that hole? I do. See all these wires coming in? I gotta get on a step ladder because this switch is higher than 6 foot 6 inches. So the switch is too high. Alright, when you bring all these wires in here like that, that's called bundling. It's very common. Even the image that I have baked into the report, even that, it's almost apologetic. I hate discounting my work, but it's very common, but you shouldn't have that many wires coming in. That's why you have all these little holes like that. You see over here, okay, this is a single lug, right? This is a single lug, but we've got 2 wires. We've got a stranded ground coming in here, and we got a ground coming over here to our sub panel. Well, look at all the little wires all hanging off of that. Look at that. You think that's 100% connection? I don't. It's not supposed to be lugged in the first place. All these wires coming out of these in cables, all these wires coming out of these circuit breakers, all right, they're all hot. See this white wire right there? That's supposed to be wrapped with black tape. If you don't know that's hot, you don't belong in this cabinet. I get that. These wires are all touching the cabinet cover, and then we're coming on along. And then you got plenty of room in here. You can put neutrals and grounds on the same bus. You got all kinds of room. You can double lug neutrals, but you shouldn't double lug, you can double lug grounds, but you shouldn't double lug a neutral. And they come in here and they just like had where are you? They had all the room in the world to do it right, and they double lug this neutral with this ground right there. The bonding location is not labeled on here. We might find it, but the bonding location is not labeled in here. All right. Oh, there's another one. You just wanted to double lug some neutrals? He says, I got to. I just can't leave this job unless I double lug a neutral. Is that right? Okay. Come over here to the sub panel, not a sub panel. We got an open knockout here. We got bundling there. Now, we don't have any white hots, but we got the double lug neutrals. The double lug neutrals in here. And I'm going to go one step farther. I mean, we got the screws holding it. We got the gaps. Go one step further. In this panel, not this one. Well, you know what? I take that back. This is actually a sub panel because we got a main panel on the other by the meter. I'm going to take that back here for a minute. These two are two peas in a pod. I want to explain why. I was sitting here talking about the grounds and the neutrals and everything, but what I didn't call your attention to, because it's the bar that's bonded, all the neutrals should be on one side and all the grounds should be on the other side. They shouldn't be mixed. You should have two bars in this panel. See this, how you're mixing your neutrals and your grounds? Anytime, because the main disconnect by the meter makes that the primary. And that's where you bond everything. Everything here is all separate. And then this green screw right here, okay, that took this whole bar to the cabinet. And it's supposed to be isolated from the cabinet. That green screw should have been removed, and this bridge should have been removed. And all the neutral should have been on one side, and all the ground should have been on the other side. And then this one, you should have had another bus bar put in here, and all the neutrals on one, and all the grounds on the other one. Yay! I'm glad I talked through this. Okay, we're not through yet, though. We're not through yet. This is handwriting. All right. Code in the manufacturer, and this is nothing. Code in the manufacturer, both of them, think that this should be printed. See where it says GE Power Mark, gold, load center? Okay, that's printing. This is handwriting. Now, I know if you're old like me, you remember, do you do cursive writing yet? They don't even teach that in school anymore. And then I said, no, I'm still printing. And that's what we said. But that's not printing. That's block writing. All right? This is printing where it says danger. So all the circuit breakers should have been printed. Another thing, this is when it wasn't required when this cabinet was installed, no doubt. But I don't know. I don't know. It looks like it's a fairly recent installation. Don't see any green tags around here. And I wouldn't. Not with the way that they... No, I wouldn't expect to see a green tag in here. All right, but we also do not have arc fault prevention circuit breakers in this panel. And again, they weren't required. It grandfathered in, but it's a safety device. So that's what we learned. We learned that we got open knockouts. We learned that we got gaps. We learned that we got the wrong kind of screws holding the panels in. We learned that we got bundling. We learned that we got white hots. We learned that in one of these panels, in both of them actually, we've improperly commingled the grounds with the neutrals, and some of our neutrals have actually been double lugged. We learned that the labeling is not correct. We learned that our bonding location is not labeled in here. That's what we learned.